I mean, you probably didn't have favorite brothers or sisters, but were there some you were closer with than others? Growing up, who were you closest to?
I didn't have favorites, but it's so funny because you'll be so close with the brother, then he gets married, so you lose him, and then he goes off with the wife. Yeah. And that happened with almost every single brother. Yeah. Michael and I ended up being the closest always. We were always together. We lived together in New York together. We did a lot of things together. But basically, Jermaine and I were close at one time, and then of course he got married, and my brother Jackie, and he got married, and Marlon, and he got married. They all just married off, of course.
From the montage that we made, one of the most extraordinary clips I find is where you and Michael sit together, and you tell him that actually you admire him so much for what he's accomplished. And to me, it looked a little bit like you saw Michael as an example. You looked up to him, you adored him, but it was always going to be a big mountain to climb for yourself because you looked up to him so much. Am I right about that in a sense?
I think he's one of the best entertainers there is. I think he's accomplished so much, a great deal, and he knows that I was always so shy. It's like, I could never do what you're doing. He just gets out there and he does it. And he goes, yes, you can. He would always say, you know, just try, just try. I go, but he's so great at it. So
he was very shy about you complimenting him. He was very embarrassed almost.
Yeah, basically everybody's shy in the family. It's very interesting to be such a large family and such a talented family, but yet so shy at the same time. But he's accomplished so much, and he would say always, oh, this is nothing.
Where do you think that shyness comes from? Where does that shyness come from?
My mother.
Your mother?
Oh, yeah, absolutely my mother. And I think the way we grew up, too, we grew up Jehovah's Witness.
Okay.
Yeah, we grew up Jehovah's Witness, so I think that has a lot to do with it because we were very sheltered. We stayed away from the world and everything else.
Because it's true, because everybody you see from the Jackson family is very soft-spoken, including you. And, you know, it's that shyness. So from being locked away, from being outside of the world, in a sense.
My mother, she's soft-spoken as well. My father, he is, I would say so, but he always tells my mother, he goes, you know, he calls her Kate. Her name is Catherine, of course. And he goes, Kate, all these boys that we had, and they all took after you. Every last one of them. He always says that to her.
That's fantastic. You're not a Jehovah's Witness anymore, are you?
No, I believe in certain things, but no, I'm not a devout Jehovah's Witness, meaning I don't go.
No.
Because we normally, we have studies 5 times a week, so it's a bit much, and
very religious upbringing.
I think long as you have God in your life, that's fine. If you have that relationship, that personal relationship with God, and He knows that, and you know that, that's all that really matters. I don't always think or believe that you have to go to some type of temple or organization to really bring God into your life, to be spiritual, as long as He knows that you're there and you study the Bible and read it on your own time.
When did you start to feel estranged from the family? Because we need to cover that area, because I mean that's where all your battling begun as well. That's how you can start over now, because you came over that. I mean, you dealt with that. But where did you feel? When did that start, the estrangement?
It was my manager, the management, which was I never like to say his name because it was such a bad influence, and it was a control factor. And a lot of women, they probably get this in their lives. You don't realize it. He became my manager, and what he basically did was, my parents couldn't go to Japan with me, so they sent him, because he was working with my father, and they sent him with me to Japan. My mother couldn't make it, my father couldn't make it, and when he went over to Japan with me, the minute we got there, he took my passport, and he says, you're never going back. And do you know, I never saw my family in many years. He would never let me go back. And from that point onward, he started doing slightly little things. The abuse came, the control factor. No, you stay in your room, you don't do this, you say this. I never saw people, I never associated with anyone. I would only go on stage, perform, and sing, back to the limousine, back to the hotel, back to the plane.
Well, what did he tell you? What did he tell you about your family?
Or have friends or anything.
Wow.
He told me I'm never going back, that now I'm his, and he's controlling me. And that's basically what he did.
Do you think now, how was he able to control you that easily?
Very easily. You know, now that I'm out of that situation, I go, geez, that's all you had to do was walk away. But I couldn't do that.
Why couldn't you?
Because the fear, when someone instills fear into you, and you're afraid of them, and they're controlling you at the same time, and they promise you they're going to kill you if you try to get away or do something, and they're keeping you watch eye there, and they have the security that they hired with your money, of course, and they're watching over you, and when they do that, you're just afraid, and you're afraid to make moves. So this went on for many, many, many years. And
he literally said, I'm going to kill you, your brother, everybody.
Yes. No, not everybody. Just myself.
And Michael.
Michael and Jan. And I believed him. I believed him because of things that I had seen from being with him. I believed him of things that he has been saying to other people. And when you see this, you see the threats, you see what's going on in the lives, and I can freely talk about it now, so it makes me feel good to get it out of my system. But you see these things, so you know he's going to do it. You know he's not joking. You know he's not playing. He had a lot of friends in New York on Mulberry Street. We spent a lot of time there, so I believed a lot of things that were going on.
Sure.
And it's like, wow, he's serious. And I knew a lot of people.
You know, it's a very current thing in Holland. It's a topic of national conversation for us, because there's a phenomenon called lover boys over here.
Oh, is that what they call them here?
That's what they call them over here, lover boys. But this is the exact same thing. I mean, this ticks all the boxes of a lover boy that we know of. Just very controlled, and you can't get out. How many years?
You can't get out of it. It's such a control factor. And my mother, she found out during all this time, because my mother was busy, finding out and doing research and everything. She found out while he was with me, she said he was putting things in my food to keep my mind a certain way.
Sort of drugs?
Yes, that's what she was told from a doctor, that he gives mind-altering drugs to different girls that he's been with, and the doctors had given it to him. So they said, this is what he's doing to her. And I don't know the name of the drug, but they said it was the same thing that they give the soldiers sometimes when they go over to fight or whatever.
Okay.
That same sort of thing. But
were you in a personal relationship with him as well as in a sexual relationship?
No, it was not sexual, no.
Nothing.
No, but we did get married. He married me without my consent. It's a terrible story. This whole thing's a nightmare. But anyway, he was giving me these things. I never saw it, but what I did know, that I was never able to eat until he administered the food to me. You can eat now.
Wow.
Any hotel room, go to the room.
So
now you can eat your food.
How long does this last?
It lasted until I was finally able to walk away. And I walked away.
How many years?
How many years was it? It was too many years, I should say.
Yeah.
Probably about 11 years.
11 years.
Yeah, 10, 11 years. A long, long time.
So here's the thing. What made you walk away? How were you able to do that?
You know what it is, Robert? When you're in a situation like that and someone's controlling your mind and your thoughts and making you say things and telling you what to say, and you're not yourself, you don't remember what went on the next day, the following day, they're constantly keeping you that way.
Yeah.
It's the strangest thing. One day I asked for a Bible because I wasn't allowed to read anything. He would never let me read anything or watch television or do anything. So I asked for a Bible, and he slapped me. He says, no, you'll never touch a Bible. So I asked one of the workers, I said, please, if you can just get your hands on a Bible for me, because I felt I needed that in my life. I kept praying to God for help to let go and let something happen, and please give me the strength to leave. And I just couldn't do it. So I asked for this Bible because whenever he would leave the house, we had a home in Paris. And in Paris, France, they have the locks that you lock the person inside. So he would lock me inside the house when he goes. Have you seen these locks where you can lock them inside? And I couldn't get out. So it locked me inside the house. Well, that went on for the longest until it got to the point when he would leave, he would tell me, now go in the closet. And I would literally sit in the closet for hours until he came back. That's how much fear he had instilled in me.
Yeah.
And there were certain days that he'd come back and just look and say, I'm just checking to see if you didn't leave the closet. And you know, I was so trained like a dog. I would just sit there on the floor in the closet like this the entire time. And I didn't know what to expect, because if he comes back and I'm out, I know he's going to beat me again. So I just stay there. All that time I would stay there in the closet. And I said to myself, there has to be a better way. God, please show me the light. Please open